I did a live stream earlier. This is pre-recorded. I'm recording at 5 p.m., June 24th, 2025. And I turned on to YouTube and I came across this. Imagine that. Other YouTube sites, bigger YouTube sites, are finding out the same thing that I suggested earlier today when I hosted a live stream. Chris Ryder was on, and I pointed out that the nuclear weapons program in Iran is not, despite what the president said, obliterated. There's a little setback. And of course, the president and his White House is an epic failure. His entire cabinet, his White House press secretary, that bimbo. Let me make this bigger, and let's get into it. Back up. Got to give credit where it's due. This is Adam Mockler, and Trump's own Pentagon just exposed his ceasefire. Okay, Adam Mockler, and I am subscribed, and it's, yeah, okay, I'm going to go now. Big. All right, Adam, talk to me.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We have major breaking news into CNN. Three sources tell CNN that according to an early U.S. intelligence assessment, the U.S. military strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities last weekend did not destroy the core components of the country's nuclear program.
Did not destroy the core components. In other words, Saturday's bombing raid was very impressive. Now, let's keep in mind, Trump and his administration are trying to spin it that when we say stuff like this, we're somehow attacking the pilots. The pilots did an excellent job. They're given targets to hit. They're giving LiDAR and radar and other priority intelligence reporting, and they did their job perfectly. They were told what to hit. They were told what to observe and what to report back, and they did it. No one is attacking the pilots. Except for Trump himself. Okay.
And likely only set it back a few months.
This is an intelligence assessment coming from Donald Trump's own Pentagon. They did a preliminary report and figured out they only delayed by a few months the development of Iran's nuclear program, meaning this war has not ended. It has just begun.
Well, we don't know if it means the war or the bombing raids are ended. Trump seems to be very, very big on not going too far, because he's trying to please both sides of his MAGA bullshit clowns. You got the Reagan-esque half of MAGA who wants a powerful America, who wants America to bring about the prophecies of the Bible. And you have the isolationist MAGA, like the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Proud Boys. Nothing against gays, but that just sounds gay. Proud Boys, Oath Breakers. Oath Keepers. Yeah, okay. Shut up, Finkel. Let's listen to what Adam Mockler has to say.
There's more to this clip that I want to play, but have you guys ever seen those videos of bicyclists or runners basically celebrating before they go through the finish line, and then someone else comes and zips past them and finishes before them? Trump did exactly that.
Wow, Adam, right on, spot on. Yes. Too much hubris, too much gloating, too much. Obviously, Iran has officially responded to our obliteration is capitalized, of their nuclear facilities. Yeah, he's been going on and on about how great Trump is. How great thou art. Okay, let's continue.
Celebrated too early with dozens and dozens of posts saying, "Congratulations, world. It's time for peace." Then there was, "Congratulations to everyone. There has been total peace. Congratulations. Wow. It's time for peace. Peace through strength." He sent out all of these masturbatory posts congratulating
masturbating, I would say, posts
himself. And this was like 18 hours ago. Since then, the missiles have continued to fly, and we've gotten more and more intelligence reports saying this.
That's right. So this is an assessment that actually is out from the Defense Intelligence Agency. That is the Pentagon's intelligence arm.
Yep.
And it was based on a battle damage assessment conducted by U.S. CENTCOM after the strikes, according to one of the sources. Let's go to CNN.
U.S. CENTCOM, Central Command. Okay. Sources from U.S. Central Command. Let's make sure I heard that right. Okay, someone leaked. As I said this morning, Hegspeth has the leakiest Pentagon in the history of leaky Pentagons.
Pentagon's intelligence arm,
Yep.
and it was based on a battle damage assessment conducted by U.S. CENTCOM after the strikes, according to one of the sources.
Okay, so the leak didn't necessarily come from CENTCOM, but it came from somewhere in the Department of Defense.
Let's go to CNN national security correspondent Natasha Bertrand, who has this exclusive new reporting. This is to that question that has been asked about how much damage has been done. This is a real question. It's also a political question that has been to something that Donald Trump has been sort of dealing with here recently. What are you learning, Natasha?
Yeah, look, Brianna, this is the first assessment that we are getting that the U.S. intelligence community has found about the battle damage that resulted from those U.S. military strikes on these 3 Iranian nuclear facilities over the weekend. And as you said, it was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is
DIA. Okay.
the Pentagon's intelligence arm.
Is Trump going to continue to just beef with all of his own intelligence arms? He's going to say,
Yes, he will listen to Putin before he listens to his own intelligence agencies. By the way, Adam Markler and a few other young dudes are the liberal response to those red pill MAGA idiots, the Wilsons and the Tim Pools, those fucktards. This is the liberal response, and they're doing much better. And they're not getting paid tons of money from Russians and Iranians and wherever else those fucktards got their money from. Let's get back to it.
hey, I don't believe the director of national intelligence. I don't believe, any of my intelligence arms at the Pentagon. I only believe my gut instincts and maybe Netanyahu. Can I point out this was all avoidable? If you look at this chart very quickly.
I want to stop here. Okay. Before Adam explains it, let me explain it. On the left at the bottom, you see that Iran was playing around with enriching uranium, And then when the JCPOA, the Obama deal, was implemented, it stopped completely stopped. That's with IAEA inspections. They were done. And then Trump pulled us out of that agreement, and look how fast they have progressed. And what was done Saturday did very little to reverse that.
Before we finish that, Iran's nuclear activity has recently expanded rapidly, and this is according to the Institute for Science and International Security. The source is at the bottom. Financial Times reported this as well. Now, when Trump pulled us out of the JCPOA, which is the Iran nuclear deal, you see a direct increase in enrichment. Again, look at this. In 2011, it spikes a little bit. Then in 2015, 2016, Obama signs it. It's implemented. We have direct oversight. And then again, he withdraws and Trump withdraws, and we see this to continue.
And it is worth noting that it is a very early assessment. The strikes were only a matter of days ago, and the intelligence community is still gathering intelligence. They are still working to come up with a full, comprehensive picture of what exactly happened here. But based on a battle damage assessment that was carried out by U.S. Central Command, essentially looking at the images and looking at what was actually damaged, the Defense Intelligence Agency has assessed that the core components of Iran's nuclear program are largely intact, and that
core largely intact. Isn't that what I said this morning? Isn't that what AI said this morning? This is what CNN's reporting now, direct from DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency. It's all bread and circuses, shows. It's all for show, man. It's all for show. It's like deporting an illegal alien on a Galaxy 5 at 10 times the cost as it would to put them on a commercial charter. It was all for show. It's all for show. Let's continue.
That Iran's nuclear program has essentially only been set back by months. Now, we presented this information to the White House for comment. And
now keep in mind, the infrastructure is set by months. They still have the technology. They still have lots of enriched uranium in several places. Imagine if you will, some foreign entity in 3 isolated strikes wants to take out our enriched uranium or our nuclear weapons. It's going to take a lot more than 3 locations. I get it. We're a lot bigger than Iran, but think about it. Just just Virginia. You got to hit Langley Air Force Base. You got to hit Norfolk Naval Base. You got to hit Yorktown. What do you call that? The weapons depot. That's just Virginia. What about Texas? What about upstate New York? You just can't do it in 3 strikes. I get it. The United States is much bigger, much more geography, but Iranians are kind of backwards, but they're not stupid. They got this stuff spread around and buried deep. Let's continue.
White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, she did acknowledge the existence of this assessment, but she said in a statement that the administration disagrees with it. She said, quote, "This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified."
This alleged assessment was flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community. Carolyn with a K, you are a low-level loser. Why? Because you are the White House press secretary. The correct response is not to acknowledge the top secret information exists. It's to say, I can neither confirm nor deny the presence of this assessment. You stupid, see you next Tuesday idiot. You are bringing back the blonde joke, you blonde bimbo. Okay. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission. Perfectly executed as in they did exactly what they were told to do. No one is attacking the pilots except for you, dimwit, to obliterate Iran's nuclear problem. The job wasn't to obliterate it. The job was to hit 3 specific targets, with Iran having moved a lot of the stuff out. And you know that, you twit. You're just hoping your audience doesn't know that. Let's continue.
As top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program.
What are you going to do when the lies like this, attacking everybody as a fake news loser? What are you going to do when that backfires in your face and in 3 months, Trump and Israel continue to escalate in the Middle East? I mean, you can continue to undermine your own intelligence agencies, Caroline Leavitt. You can continue to attack your own Pentagon, but it's going to backfire when Trump pulling us into this war continues to tank his poll numbers. Like, think about this series of events from a brilliant commander-in-chief. I say that sarcastically because he pulled us out of the Iran nuclear deal. That directly led to more nuclear facilitation by Iran, more nuclear.
Thank you, Adam. I've been saying that all along. Trump put himself into this situation. And to finish reading what Caroline with a K, Caroline, everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs. Yes, 30,000 pounds is a lot of boom boom. It makes a big boom. And these particular bombs are designed to drive deeper underground than anything else we have in our arsenal. They drive deep, they go boom. Yes, everyone knows shit gets blown up in 3 locations. 1, 2, 3. There are over 20 locations that you have to hit. And we don't even know where all 20 of them are. 3. You hit 3 of them. And what happened miles underground that you can't see, even with the LiDAR, you can't really see what's been done. And by the way, the day before, lots of trucks were at all 3 of these locations moving shit. These guys are beating us at intelligence because we have people like Caroline with a K and the leaky Pentagon, the leaky Trump Pentagon. We have a drunk in charge of the Pentagon. Yeah, it's very easy to get information. Hell, they probably got it from Russia, Trump's old buddy. Let's continue.
Clear progress. Then after that, Trump decides to pull the U.S. into this, thinking that he can just declare peace right after and then get some Nobel Peace Prize. Then when that doesn't happen, he begins to break down on the White House lawn and throw a temper tantrum. And now we're learning All of this was for nothing.
Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets, total obliteration. Now, it is worth noting here that there has been dissent, I should say, within the intelligence community, within the defense community about just how much of an impact these massive bunker buster bombs would actually have on Iran's nuclear facility. It was far from certain, given that these bombs had never been tested in an actual combat scenario, whether...
Actually, we did use one or two in Afghanistan, and they were very effective for that mission. I'm surprised these decades-old bombs weren't used by the Republican Bush administration when we were chasing around weapons of mass destruction that did not exist in Iraq, and North Korea developed and set off their bomb. Why didn't we use it then? I don't know. Let's continue.
They would actually penetrate those very, very deep underground tunnels that lie underneath these nuclear facilities. And what we are told is that as of now, this Defense Intelligence Agency assessment, it does conclude at this point, again, it is still very early, that those underground facilities, including the centrifuges, including the highly enriched uranium that everyone has been talking so much about, those are largely intact. Now, of course, this does stand at odds with what President...
By the way, even if they got all of the highly enriched uranium, which they didn't, much of it was shipped out the day before, now they have the technology to enrich uranium. So even if you've got all of the uranium, they're going to get more uranium and they're going to enrich it. It doesn't take that long now that they know what they're doing. The Titanic has sailed on that one. I'm sorry, the ship has sailed. Yeah.
Donald Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth had...
No, Trump and Pete Hegseth would not lie to the American people. I can't even say that with a straight face.
Yeah.
But to continue here, and also, if you made it this far in the video, let me know what the weather's like where you are today. Chicago is finally cooling off, and make sure you join.
It's fucking hot, Adam, but you can't hear me unless you stoop way down low and reach into the low viewer count of my channel. But let's continue.
In the crew below, we are scaling a media network that will punch back at MAGA media, and you can be a part of it by joining the feed below. Click subscribe on the Adam Mockler channel.
Absolutely. Subscribe to this guy and his friends. They are a perfect response to the Andrew Wilsons, to the Tim Pools, to the red pill fucking idiots who tell their wives to go make them a sandwich because they can't even wipe their own ass. These guys are half their age, and something tells me they know how to wipe their own ass. Let's continue.
Have been saying in recent days about the impact of these U.S. military strikes. Of course, President Trump said it was totally obliterated, and Secretary Hegseth did as well. And he actually also provided CNN with a statement. And he said that, quote, based on everything we have seen, and I've seen it all, our bombing campaign obliterated Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons. Our massive bombs hit exactly the right spot at each target and worked perfectly. The impact of those bombs is buried under a mountain of rubble in Iran. So anyone who says the bombs were not devastating is just trying to undermine the president and the successful mission. Now,
based on everything I've seen, and I've seen it all, from the point of coming out of the water at a brothel, drunk off your ass, I'm sure you've seen some things. But Pete Hegseth, you ain't seen shit. All right, let's continue.
This is what they do. Anybody who's not willing to break the law for the president or do wacky shit for the president, they say is trying to undermine him. Just because there are intelligence reports coming from our own Pentagon doesn't mean you have to undermine them. And Pete Hegseth, why are you undermining your own people? If they're so wrong in trying to undermine the president, wouldn't you just fire them?
Our sources did emphasize here that there was severe damage that was done largely to the above ground structures at these nuclear sites. And so
now to the leaker, I got to say, we went through it with the Pentagon Papers and Watergate. Don't leak shit to CNN. CNN is not credible. CNN does not know Easter Island from Hawaii. CNN, I know people like to joke, the Clinton News Network or the Communist News Network. And I'm not saying CNN's, they're idiots. Don't send it to MSNBC either. What you do, as did with the Pentagon Papers, send it to the Washington Post, the New York Times, the LA Times, and the Atlantic Journal. And then CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News will pick up on it and get the reporting out from credible sources. Not a lot of people watch CNN anymore. At least I don't think they do. Let's continue.
There was damage done, of course, by these massive bombs, but the core components of the nuclear program, we are told, they are largely intact, and it only set the program back by a matter of months.
It's probably also because Donald Trump sent out multiple warnings, and he was trying to do this in a humanitarian way, which is what he claimed. He said, everybody evacuate Tehran. But in reality, as Vlad Vexler points out, that's more of a narcissistic way to get.
What was up with that? Those 3 nuclear sites weren't anywhere near Tehran. Why did he tell everyone to evacuate Tehran? And now he's claiming he's the bringer of peace, like he's some kind of fictional biblical antichrist. What the fuck, Donald? What was that? Some kind of, what do you call it, a psyop or something? Everyone, get out of Tehran. You friggin' moron. All right, let's continue.
An ego boost. He wants to know that he can inflict pain thousands of miles away with a single Truth Social post, and that gives him narcissistic supply. So when he told everybody to evacuate Tehran, there's a very real chance that the Iranian regime began to move their uranium, storages. And that's why, even though there was damage done, it's still not over. It's only delayed a few weeks, and this is made all the more ironic. It's dripping irony by the fact that Donald Trump is still posting like he caused massive, massive peace. Trump was right about everything. Really. What about the no new wars? What about the tariffs? What about everything? Everything you've been wrong about. He then is, begging people, Iran will never rebuild their nuclear facilities. Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to bomb them a hell of a lot more to prevent that. Or without the credibility of Obama, get back into a deal with Iran like Obama did. But you don't have the credibility of Obama, Mr. President. You're a fucktard, and you hire fucktards. You hire drunken fucktards like Pete Hegseth. You hire bimbo fucktards like Carolyn with a K. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, are you sure about that? This tweet from 8 hours ago aged very, very poorly, as everything does in MAGA world. I'll leave it there. I love you all. I'll see you in the next video. We are building something beautiful here, and be ready for a unique live show starting in the next few weeks. We are building something behind the scenes. If you want to see the behind the scenes,
Adam. All right, that's enough. Somebody says when I hit Andrew Wilson, I was punching up. Now I was punching a retard who has more clicks and views. This time I'm not punching. I'm patting Adam Mockler on the back. He and his buddies are doing a hell of a job. Putting Tim Pool and putting Andrew Wilson and putting, I can't think of the other, Joe Rogan, putting them to shame because they're actually bringing facts to the table. Tim Pool, he'll argue about noises under the Antarctic that's been known about for years. As the ice melts and shifts, it makes noise. He thinks we're preparing to evacuate the world if you're Spethel. If you're Spethel and you're in Spethel continuation with the Illuminati, you'll be saved from. Shut the fuck up, Tim Pool. Shut the fuck, Adam Wilson. Americans, listen, pay attention. Trump is full of shit, and I'm going to end the recording right now. Cheerio, and if you love Trump, fuck off. If you hate Trump, God bless you and God bless America.